edit video in Final Cut Pro, then this is for you. We've changed over 50,000 filmmakers'
Another
lives with the
ad.
Ultimate Bundle. It's every single...
35, 40 cars, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I ain't like 4, 5, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but you got one car that costs more than my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, we going on all these major tours. I'm reading these magazines, you know, Cashmoney Rough Riders tour, you know, gross $14.5 million, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm reading the shit. Well, I'm seeing all these zeros, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm one, but at the time, you know, I'm 16, 17, 18, you know what I'm saying? I'm riding around in a Benz, you know, I'm blinging, you know what I'm saying? I got stacks in my pocket, I'm on TV all day, you know what I'm saying? I'm on covers of magazines, I'm fucking hoes in every state, you know what I'm saying? I'm full of that heroin, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm you know, so I really wasn't seeing clearly, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was happy, you know what I'm saying? But once I sobered up, you know what I'm saying, and started seeing clearly and got my mind right, you know what I'm saying? And if nigga love me, if you love me like you say you love me, you know what I'm saying, then you wouldn't want to see me, you know what I'm saying, destroy myself like that. So evidently, you know what I'm saying, you wanted me in that position so you could keep that sheet over my eyes so I won't see what's really good. I wouldn't want to learn the business aspect of shit, you know what I'm saying? So one day, man, I just woke up, you know what I'm saying, and I just got sick of it, you know what I'm saying? Get my bag. I gotta get my little bag to this shit. Hey, where the other bag at? Where my other bag at? Check your account. I did you right. I did you right. You heard me? You heard me? Man. You heard me? Yeah.
We forever in business with Drake. We forever in business with Drake.
What's the next deal?
We forever in business with Drake.
I mean, we can't speak up on none.
All I can tell you is we forever in business with Drake. Fuck what you heard or what you might hear. It is what it is. We're in business with Drake. Simple.
Listen, the basis loaded bottom of the ninth. We are starting this video off talking about an unemployed shooter. Now, first want to come on YouTube to talk about unemployed shooters because we think that crash dummies in our culture are cool. Like the crash dummy who took $5,000 for NBA Youngboy to end G-Money life. My man life was ended for $5,000. So we live in a culture where these guys who don't have a job. It's crazy when Chef G got indicted, they said that he paid for his shooters to have a steak dinner. These guys don't have a job. They eat pasta by catching bodies. They eat steak dinner by catching bodies. They drive foreign cars by catching bodies. This man right here was confirmed and paid by Birdman to take the life of Lil Wayne. See, as a fan, a lot of people have emotions, and this is why it's so good to unplug from the matrix. Because when you unplug from the matrix, you can see things for what they really are. If you can't unplug from the matrix, you're going to think, oh, Birdman is a legend, end the discussion. Birdman is a hustler, end the discussion. Birdman is Birdman, end the discussion. Birdman is from N.O., end the discussion. Now, I made this video after I left New Orleans because I wanted to enjoy New Orleans and I wanted my energy to be high in New Orleans. But making this video right here, I can honestly say that this was an eye-opener because, listen, everybody has an eye-opener in life that make you realize that things are fake. And growing up, I thought BG was the coolest hot boy out of all the hot boys. I never thought it was Turk. And if you guys are not familiar, because they're a little bit older than your average group, but in my generation, Cash Money was bigger than No Limit. In my generation, Cash Money changed the rap game forever. This is why I had to go to New Orleans because, listen, even though we might be biased, nobody from Maryland changed the rap game like Cash Money. Not even the Wu-Tang. Yes, I said it. Not even the Wu-Tang changed.
That's true, because I don't know no rappers from New Orleans, but Cash Money is still around, and it's 2023.
Changed the game like Cash Money. And I know a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, you're just on the New Orleans high. There is no West Coast group that did it bigger than Cash Money. You guys have to understand, Cash Money was the biggest group that ever did it in hip-hop, period. When I mean period, I mean period, because see, Birdman, as you heard in the second video clip, he is with Drake forever. Drake owes him forever. Forever, ever, forever, ever. You guys have to understand, as long as Drake is touring, Birdman is cashing out. Birdman is responsible for Drake, the biggest who ever did it in the game as far as rap, R&B. However you want to feel about him, however he paints his nails, as far as doing numbers, as far as doing records, Drake probably is one of the biggest artists of all time. Under who? Birdman. And I don't even really want to talk about the link between Birdman and Jay Prince, but at the end of the day, listen, that's the only reason Birdman was able to get away with what he got away with. You guys have to understand, Lil Wayne, he has his arm around his neck. So if he try to take Lil Wayne out, if he try to put holes in Lil Wayne tour bus, why would BG even want to come out and deal with this man? You guys have to understand, Birdman is not a nice man. Birdman is all about himself. Birdman never gave a F about any of them, especially the younger ones, especially Turk, especially Lil Wayne, and especially BG. We're going to get to BG next, Let It Breathe. You guys have to understand, as older men in your 30s, you should never want to usher up a younger man into the industry. Now, before social media, I can say that a lot of people never thought rappers did demonic things. I can say that, and I must say that. Social media with the Doja Cats, they really showing you it is not a game. It is not a secret. It is hell Satan for them all the way. They are showing you it's not a game. Back in the days of Cash Money, before Cash Money, you had No Limit, Master P, making saying, nah. Listen, I ain't gonna lie. No Limit did go hard, but they never took the game to the same level and the same length that Cash Money did. Now, before we get to BG, I want you to see the behavior of Birdman. You're putting your arm around the little man. He trusts you. Now you're humiliating this man with a ritual. I keep telling you about the rituals they do. Even Tom Brady did the same thing with his son. Will Smith did the same thing with his son. Let It Breathe. So you're kissing a man in the mouth, and then due to the fact that y'all had a little disagreement, and due to the fact that Lil Wayne probably was the only one that actually spoke up to you, he decided to get with Young Thug, get one of Young Thug homeboys, a crash dummy, to shoot at the same person that he brought in the game. And this is who BG walks out to. This is who BG hugs. Listen, I don't care what nobody said, man. BG, he needed a 9 to 5. He needed to get out and don't even trust Birdman. Birdman is not the one to be trusted. And
That's probably why young boys start messing with him.
I'm gonna say this again. Look at the dudes in the background. But Birdman is not the one to be trusted. If he sent hoes through Lil Wayne tour bus, what makes you think at some point he won't send hoes through you? And I'm gonna say this again. If he sent hoes through Lil Wayne tour bus, what makes you think at some point he wouldn't put hoes through you? Now, BG got out.
I have the ability to help people escape reality, at least for the next week.
What's she talking? Oh, she's talking about how
He said, I put money in your account. No, that's the money you owe, BG. He said, I got you a chain. Let me tell you guys something. When you die, you can't leave a chain with your child with Cash Money lettering on it. Nobody's going to buy that chain. You guys have to understand, as older men, we got to set the younger men up with the alley-oop. Those who want to listen. If they don't want to listen, listen. My favorite verse is, if they have an ear, let them hear. If they don't have an ear, guess what? We don't talk to them. And I'm going to say that again. If they don't have an ear, we don't talk to them. Now, this is BG. I never knew. Somebody told me later down the road, I think I found out like 4 to 5 years ago, and I even talked about this on YouTube, that BG was always my favorite rapper. It's crazy because, see, as when you're young, you don't see things for what they truly are because you're young. You're just caught up in the hype. Look at this whole cover right here. It looks so ghetto, but looking back at it, back in like the early 2000s, late 1990s, this stuff looked hard. It's like, oh, he got the Moet bottle. Oh, Chopper City in the ghetto. Oh, we never noticed a pitch in the background looked like it's at his funeral. We thought that this was hard. No iPhone. My man is literally on a flip phone. He's on a Tony Montana Scarface phone. And we thought that this was our generation. Listen, I'm telling you, what a time to be alive, especially when it comes to technology. This was our generation. This is how our album covers look. And there he goes with the pimp cup. There we go with the shades on. Whole time, I didn't realize this guy was on heroin. I'm talking about, like, when it came to BG, out of all the hot boys, I don't know who else, thought BG was the best hot boy, but I don't want to go against the grain. I just always thought that he was the best hot boy. Growing up in high school, listening to BG, it just made me want to fight. I grew up in a generation when people didn't pick up guns. I grew up in a generation when people, either we were fighting or we were slap boxing. See, slap boxing, it got you prepared for fighting. But at the end of the day, if we weren't fighting, we were slap boxing. If we weren't slap boxing, we were fighting. Some slap box matches actually turn into fights. Let it breathe.
I mean, I wish I was born in them days when people was fighting and shit. That shit would have been probably a little decent. I mean, I had a little bit of that. Then people start picking up guns. So, nah, everybody got them. I had a little bit of it. But, how that shit go. That shit was busting, though.
So, listen to BG, and this is how influential Cash Money, the movement, the wave, this is how important it was. Every time I listen to BG, it just made me want to put on my Timberland boots and start fighting. That's all I wanted to do. All I wanted to do was listen to BG and start fighting. That's the music that they push out. And the fact that I know how it made me feel in the past, now I use my platform to speak out about this, because when these people make songs, nobody really talks about how these songs impact the youth. And BG, all his music was talking about busting heads or being a best head buster. That's what all his songs is about, busting somebody's head. And I've seen it after football games. I've seen dudes get their head bust open with baseball bats. See, my era was the dirtiest a dude will do you was a baseball bat. I will say it wasn't until I was in college that was the first time people were like getting headshots, because I grew up in the county. I didn't grow up in the city. Let that breathe. There's a reason why. Because if I grew up in the city, it wouldn't took so long. But listen, in the county, the most I seen that was dirty, somebody had brass knuckles and somebody got hit with a baseball bat. So when BG used to make these songs, like,
bro, I ain't gonna cap. In Chicago, you hit somebody with some brass knuckles and somebody got a baseball bat, you getting blue at. Ain't no ifs and what's about it. If somebody got a pipe, you getting blue at. Cause bro, what you is overboard with it. Like, you could have literally just gave him his one, but now you sneaking them, but with the one, like, that's crazy. That's like that's bogus. Should have just gave him the one. Why you have to have brass knuckles in the back? You're not supposed to be shooting the one. Like, that's bogus. That ain't official, bro. That ain't official. But
I'm a hustler, ignorant mother. I was taught how to bust heads by the best head busters. That was like my favorite bar right there. That bar always got me pumped up. He said, BG,
Bro, what he say?
Is a hustler, ignorant mother. I was taught how to bust heads by the best head busters. What? Listen, that right there used to make me want to snap. I'm talking about still till this day. If I go in the gym and I listen, and if you probably wonder what was it, it was a Biggie Smalls, Cash Money, and it was BG. I mean, they all came off hard on that one. This was after Cash Money's the Army, better yet the Navy. That was another classic. But one more time, he said, BGZ is a hustler, ignorant mother. I was taught how to bust heads by the best head busters. What? Listen, all that music used to make me just want to start fighting. I just wanted to run up and just sweep somebody. That was the impact Cash Money had. It was about getting money, getting cars, wearing jewelry. If it wasn't for Cash Money, nobody would take jewelry as serious. Like the impact that they brought into the game. Every time I ride around your city, bling bling. Every time I ride around your city, bling bling. It's crazy growing up in Maryland. It's like, who would imagine that this was happening in New Orleans? Like in New Orleans, a place that I just visited and just fell in automatically fell in love at first sight. Like, listen, New Orleans is probably the first trip that I ever was like, listen, that trip was all love from the start. I'm talking about from the time I land, from the taxi driver. Like, I mean, listen.
The most friendliest place I ever been to was Jamaica. Okay.
I'm like the best taxi drivers I ever had. My experience was in Bulgaria. The long story, Argentina, and I can honestly say New Orleans. Boom, number 3, best taxi drivers ever. Let it breathe, and also Sacramento. Let it breathe. But this is BG right here, and I just want to say that you can't make the transition from the streets to the industry. It's impossible. And for every rapper, I will show you a whole documentary. For every rapper, I will show you a whole new case. For every cross-dresser like Tiger and YG, I will show you a whole new case why you cannot be yourself as a man, act like a man, and join this industry. Now, the last picture I had up on the slide is crazy because BG looked super sus, and that was not the BG that I was accustomed to seeing. But a lot of people don't understand, when you go into jail for a decade, when you go to jail for 11 years, like that right there, like you listen, first of all, this is what happens when you live the street life. When you live the street life, you see your family members go in and out of jail, and guess what? Somehow, sooner or later, you go in and out of jail. I am telling you from the start, I am telling you from day one, jail is not a place that you need to be in. This is why I say a 9 to 5 save lives. And I also got a video dropping. Shout out to everybody at UPS. The drivers are finally getting top pay, making $170K, let it breathe. But this is why I say a 9 to 5 save lives. Look at BG right here. Do you think BG would rather be working at Target, or do you think he really wanted to be in a slammer? Listen, when you go to jail, when people go to jail, I guarantee you, they will be happy to work at McDonald's and to be in jail. When people go to prison max penitentiaries like Big Sandy, if you guys are ever bored, or if you guys think you're tough, look up Big Sandy. Big Sandy is probably one of the worst jails with some of the craziest people. So when you want to live this street life, this is how you end up in Big Sandy. It's crazy. I never knew that. Some penitentiaries, they actually put you on a jet. You literally go shackle up on a jet. You got a pilot that transports you to a penitentiary. Listen, this was no place for BG. BG ended up here because Birdman never cared about any of them. Birdman only cared about himself, and that's the problem with older men. They see younger men, they see them as crash dummies. Bootsy talked about it on Matt Hoffa. He said the young ones, that's what we keep them around for. They take the charges. At the end of the day, you got grown men in the hood. They are predators, and people don't want to think about it, but Birdman, he was definitely a predator. And not only that, like, it's the same mindset Bootsy has with Little Blue. Why does Birdman feel that he needs to earn money from Drake for the rest of his life? He said, I'm in business with Drake forever. Listen, when you got a 9 to 5, you will never meet a Birdman. When you got a 9 to 5, you will never meet a Ghazi. When you got a 9 to 5 and you take your time, stack your crumbs, build your pie, get a business relationship, get a business loan, you take off, you never look back. Do you realize that's a seamless transition? I want to talk about a seamless transition, meaning that every step of the way as a man, it's all about being responsible. So if you're responsible every step of the way, it's a formula for a winner. You can't lose if you're responsible. If you work 1 9 to 5, get a better 9 to 5 and a better 9 to 5, and each time you're saving up money, living at your mother's house, and then you start a business, and then you took your time, then you got a mentor. Listen, you're guaranteed to win. You are guaranteed to win. You can't lose with a good work ethic. If you're optimistic and willing, you're going to win. Join the rap industry. It doesn't matter if it was the late 90s, early 2000s, or in the year 2023. The BG story should tell you how dark the industry is. This man was doing heroin with money in his pocket and 5 cars and doing heroin. I would be the first one to say, if I knew BG was doing heroin, which is worse than crack, I would have never listened to his music in high school. Listen, I'm just going to be honest. If I knew my favorite rapper, and I said this 3 years ago, BG, favorite rapper, before we finished Cashmoney's the Army, better yet the Navy. I got a path that you don't want to cross, but if you do decide to cross your way, get knocked off. I played raw because it's a dirty game, a dirty world. Listen, you guys have to understand, if I knew that he was doing heroin at that time, I would have never listened to his music. It's crazy. Maryland, Baltimore City there's heroin all over, from the county to the city. But I never would imagine that BG, somebody, every time I ride around your city, bling, pulling up at Jaguars, taking my wet mixtape cover pictures on heroin. And that's the problem with the industry. It's so dark and twisted behind the scenes that a lot of people, they have to do this because of what they did. You knew BG and Birdman had to get down. If he kissed Wayne in the mouth, and that's not his son, and Wayne got down, you knew he got down with BG as well. And BG, that's probably the reason he probably was on heroin, because Baby was forcing himself upon him. Puff Daddy, a lot of these guys, they invite these people to these parties, and they force themselves upon these young men. It happened to Justin Bieber as well. And a lot of these young men, what happens is Justin Bieber, now he has some illness because P. Diddy was all on him. A lot of these guys, you got to understand, man, the industry is a sick place. And they sell it to the youth like they're living their best life possible. But let me tell you, if you have to do heroin and you got to shoot up and you on tour, and he said, listen, first of all, I never knew why BG eyes were so slanted. I always thought that was his natural eyes. But now that he's out of jail and he's not on a drug, his eyes look normal again. When BG was performing City to City, his eyes were slanted. And I never realized that he was on heroin. That's how nasty and evil this music industry really is.
That's crazy.
A 9 to 5, save lives. Stack your crumbs and build your pie. Stay focused before you end up homeless. Let it breathe.
That's real crazy, man. This kid's 11. Y'all let me know what y'all want in the next reaction, man. We gone.